So last weekend, I was blessed to celebrate a baptism from one of the families from here at our parish. And it was actually down at St. Francis Xavier in Gates Mills because their second grader was celebrating her first communion, as we've been doing for the past couple weeks. Celebrating her first communion, she had a friend at the parish. So I did the baptism right before Mass, right before they received First Communion as well. So it was really kind of a beautiful experience of celebrating both sacraments of the font and the altar. And after the baptism of Michael, which is kind of cool because my confirmation name is also Michael. After the baptism, we do as we normally do. We take pictures. Take pictures with all the family members and the grandparents and everyone. And Michael was great throughout the whole baptism, but this is when he really started to cry and to complain a little bit. Although we have pictures when he was smiling, so we can prove that he enjoyed the day. But after we took pictures as a group, they gave me Michael to hold to take a picture. And I don't know about you, but there is something just really significant and really beautiful about holding just an infant, holding a young baby. Moms, you especially appreciate this today as we celebrate this Mother's Day memories of holding your children. You know, they're so little. With their hands and their feet, they have so many little needs. And it's great when they just look up to you and just smile. Michael was screaming at that time, but it's okay. It was still a good experience. But in that moment, I could just feel the love welling up inside of me, for him, regardless of his crying or not. And someone took a picture of the moment, and I looked back, and there was a smile on my face of just being there with him in that moment. And whether we remember it or not, we were all held like this at one point. We too were small and powerless, and we had many needs, and yet we were lovingly held. I think a mom or a dad holding their child, it's a bit of a heavenly image, because what is heaven? It's being in the eternal embrace of God's love for all eternity. And so our desire, our need, to be held, in this world really points to our desire and our need to be embraced by God forever in heaven. And the truth I think we can rejoice in today, on this Mother's Day, on this Sunday of our Easter season, is that no matter what, we are in God's hand. We are in his loving embrace. So in our gospel, Jesus is talking about himself, and he's using this image of being a shepherd. He says, the sheep hear my voice. I know them, and they follow me. No one can take them out of my hand. And this line struck me, just as I was thinking of the baptism from last week, just thinking about Mother's Day, when we just remember all of our mothers holding us in many ways, lovingly, not just physically, but with their presence, with anything they do for us. And I was drawn to this image, especially as it points to God. That God is our Father who holds us, and there's no possibility of being dropped, of being lost, or being forgotten. Okay, so bear with me for a few moments. I'd ask everyone, please close your eyes. And we'll use our imagination. Maybe it's been a little while, but imagine yourself as a little baby, and you're being held by one of your parents. What does that feel like? You have their arms under you, supporting you. You feel kind of weightless. You feel the warmth of their body against yours. You see their face smiling down at you. Maybe you resonate with this image. Maybe you don't. Maybe it feels uncomfortable. That's okay too. But I would imagine a baby would feel safe, would feel secure in in a place like this. Okay, you can open your eyes. Thank you. I think this is something not just of parents' love for us, but this is something of God the Father's love for each and every one of us. A love that began at our conception. At our conception, we became a beautiful and a living miracle. And that love, that loving embrace extended through every other moment of our life. Whether in joyful times and times of victory and celebration, or in times of sickness, of injury, of rejection, of depression. Jesus said, nothing can take us out of his hand, out of the loving embrace of the Father. And this loving embrace has been given to us in many ways, but certainly through the church, through the sacraments, through our own baptism, our own being claimed as a son or daughter of God. Every time we come to receive the Eucharist, Jesus' body, blood, soul, and divinity, we are embraced by him. And the truth is that whether we kind of experience the power of that embrace or not, doesn't mean it wasn't real and that it didn't happen. You know, at times God gives us an experience of the power of his love, but not all times. He doesn't want us to fall in love with the experience of him. He wants us to fall in love with him. So when have we maybe experienced God's loving embrace? When have we felt held by him? You know, guys, this might be something the women might resonate with more, but it's okay. It's within us too. Maybe we felt this when we have been with our kids through their lives. Maybe we have felt this loving embrace through experience of God in the sacraments. Maybe through the love and the care of a friend. Maybe through a time of prayer when the Lord reminded us of a time that we were received and we were seen and we were loved. May we be a people who seeks God, who yearns to experience his loving embrace because he promises it for us. And maybe we be a people that proclaims the truth. As the scriptures say in Acts today, that God has made us a light to the nations. May we proclaim the truth. May we proclaim the light that no matter what, we were given life by God who leads us, who loves us infinitely from every moment, from the moment of our conception throughout all of eternity.